And I don't want to focus on your clothing too much.
Yes.
But I'm sure for the viewer at home, it does look like you're about to referee a fight.
I thought that the stripes were chic, but you know.
It's all good. Between myself and Iraj from the Sith List. Welcome, buddy.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm real good.
Thank you so much. This universe is amazing, by the way. I'm in the middle of it. It's fantastic.
Dude, you need to get out more.
I sure do.
Now, Emma, so this Pencils and Parsecs.
Yes.
I just, everyone at home, do the Pencils and Parsecs podcast.
It's not, well, you can listen to it as a podcast, but primarily it is a show that streams live on Twitch.
Ah.
Yeah, over at HyperRPG, which is the Twitch channel that it is on the network of, shall we say.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yes.
One of the things I know about Twitch is that if you're a male, you can't stream with any females.
Yeah, that does seem to be first and foremost in the news this week. We break all kinds of rules. We got men and women playing together. It is pandemonium over at HyperRPG.
Oh my God.
Very progressive.
Very progressive, yeah.
Wow, yeah. If your show was a book, I'd burn it. But the weird thing about that is the only reason I know that person exists on the planet is because his wife doesn't trust him or something. But he's I'm sure like in the Twitch community.
Sure.
But the only reason I know he exists is because of that.
He is definitely the arguably the most famous Twitch streamer. He's certainly the most subscribed to channel. But it is interesting. I did find that news story very interesting this week because, again, he's somebody who very publicly is married. So why should it be weird for him to stream with other ladies? Men and women can be friends with one another. Right. This is not a new notion.
They can also play games with each other.
I know, yeah.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And speaking of males and females interacting freely, on your podcast, The Sith List, which covers Star Wars, but all types of pop culture. You were talking about a bit of Mission Impossible this week, but you had Amanda and Jess from Rebel Girl.
Right. So Amanda and Jess from Rebel Girl from MSW Network came on and they pretty much devoured our podcast and took over for a good 2 hours, and it was a fantastic time. But it was a great episode. We loved them.
Was your wife fine with it?
My wife was fine with it. She loves both of them.
Wow, she's living in a fool's paradise.
Yeah, right. Right now she's watching, shaking her head, going, "I wasn't fine with it."
But when you Twitch, I'm going to sound very old man. When you're out twitching with the kids, right? You're in different houses, yeah?
Not on our show.
But this guy, like normally when you play video,
a lot of the times when people do play video games together on Twitch, they would be in different houses. The way our show is it is technically classified as essentially an IRL stream, so like an in real life kind of thing, because we're not playing a video game, we're playing a tabletop role-playing game and just using Twitch as...
The Thinking Man's video game.
Pardon?
The Thinking Man's video game.
Exactly, the Thinking Man's video game.
Or woman, sorry.
Or woman's, person's. Thinking person's.
I tried to leave my bigotry at the door, but then I realized I live here. So, it's under the desk.
And so we're playing a tabletop role-playing game, which is, we use the Edge of the Empire system from Fantasy Flight. So it's basically D&D, but Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
And we've been doing it for, over a year and a half. So,
you should have said thousands of years.
Since the beginning of time.
Yes, that
long ago.
That sounds real tabletop gaming.
Yes.
Now, if you are watching live, and we encourage you to do that, you can chat in the live chat with our chat room reporter. She is in her helicopter. I've got to get a helicopter effect. Hey, Iraj, can you... You're good at sound effects.
I am.
Can you give us like a chopper effect? Get a bit of Michael Winslow action going?
I don't make the sound effect noises on the podcast. I actually probably don't, but let me try here.
Emily, are you there above the chat room?
I'm here too. Can you hear me above the really realistic chopper sound?
Oh, wow. We've got Ben Bird on the line here critiquing.
That's right.
Bit rough. In the chat room, we are going to be talking, Emily. What's the vibe like? How are we sounding?
You guys seem to be sounding great. I haven't heard any complaints about the sound. And we've got a really active chat room with a lot of new people tonight. I'm excited.
Nice. That's awesome. But you're not hearing complaining. Are you sure you're logged into the internet? I'm not sure you're using it correctly. But what we want to know, we're going to talk a bit about the news. We've got some stuff about a possible Mandalorian series with Jon Favreau. And we've got one of the funniest non-news stories of the week, which sort of shows how desperate Star Wars fans are for news. But we'll get to that. But what we want as our call-in topic, you can call in about everything. It's a pretty mellow news week. But yeah, we want to know your episode 9 do's and don'ts. And if you are at work or whatever, just type that in the chat room. And towards the end of the show, we'll get Emily to report back from her chopper. Sound effect, please.
That doesn't sound anything like a chopper at all.
We'll stay safe up there, Emily. That is so bad.
That helicopter.
That is so bad. All right.
Talk about pop filters.
All right. Emily's going to go reconsider what she's doing with her life for a little while. Let's get to a tweet. Which one should we do first? Let's do the big news. You're right there, Rashad. You seem very active about this one. But Jason Ward, I feel like the Star Wars week can be encapsulated by the tweets of the week. Jason Ward, making Star Wars, loves to tweet, this guy. And he reports a rumor of a live-action series to be about Mandalorians after the fall of the Empire. And this is the Jon Favreau Disney Direct, direct-to-consumer.
Their streaming service is called.
I guarantee it's going to be called Disney Direct.
I mean, there's some good alliteration there, so...
It's because to me, I was talking about this the other week, it's like Solo.
Sure.
And it's like the untitled Han Solo film. They just call it Solo.
Right.
But they're just calling it like the Disney direct-to-consumer service.
Right.
Direct.
It's just going to be called Disney Direct. Double D.
Double T's. Yeah, that didn't come out right. Huh?
Oh, no. Rashad's doing... what are you doing?
I'm just taking the Disney straight to the veins.
He was doing a vein like...
Really? I didn't see it.
So
Okay.
that's how he wants his Disney. Straight up, no chaser. That is excellent.
You actually just like plug Disney into your brain and it's just a constant feed of their content.
Just right to the dome immediately.
And it makes a physical merge in all these badges around his neck. It just they're like merchandise rashes, you know? It's all good. Yeah. So Mandalore, this is going to be taken 3 years after Return of the Jedi. That is confirmed. And Jason Ward seems to know his stuff. But what I find interesting about this is if they're doing the Clone Wars and they're going to do the Siege of Mandalore, that gives them some pretty sweet space to do some tie-in storylines, have a few characters cross over.
Right.
Emma, you are...
I totally agree. So it was so funny when these rumors started coming out. It was really interesting to see the very divided reaction that the internet had to it. Because, I mean, from my perspective, and I obviously am very biased, I love Mandalorians. The character I play on Pencils and Parsecs is Mandalorian. So I was like, this is awesome. Because especially if you look at sort of what is canon as far as Mandalore is concerned, everything for the most part that we've gotten has either been in the novels, in the comics, or in the animated series. And we have not had anything really live action. Like, we've never been to Mandalore in a movie. We've been there multiple times in the animated series, but never in a film. So the idea of getting something that is like live action Mandalore is so exciting. And again, with the potential of directly tying in what we're going to see in these additional episodes of Clone Wars, that is just so exciting to me. But I saw all these people tweeting about things being like, I don't like Mandalorians. They're just like space Spartans and they're boring. And my reaction was, even if you do feel that way, don't you see this as an opportunity to expand upon them and make them not that, which they already aren't that, in my opinion, but that's where I stand on it. But if they were.
Here's your chance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Araj, where are you sitting on this?
I completely agree. The Mandalorians, we don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if people are complaining, people complain about anything.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. But
It's
if people
the
are complaining about not having enough character background, well, this is our chance.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Exactly.
And everybody loves the armor and the lore of them, so why not have a live action?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that too, that, done well, everybody's talking about, obviously, since Benioff and Weiss are the showrunners on Game of Thrones, the potential of them doing an Old Republic series, rumors maybe that would be very reminiscent of Game of Thrones. But I think that done correctly, your story about Mandalore could absolutely be very Game of Thrones-esque, because it is implied, certainly, though not necessarily super well established within canon, that Mandalorians conquered a big part of space. It's not just like one planet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
And the budget's supposed to be insane.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I heard rumors were 10 million an episode.
I heard 100 million an episode.
No, you're
okay.
It's 100 million a series.
100 million a series. Okay, there we go.
Which is crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
Emma, you've got to watch your decimal points there.
I'm going to start some salacious rumors right now.
Right. Salacious.
In front of Salacious Crumb. Right. It's very offensive. But
100 million for a TV show,
it's
a TV series, it's unheard of.
Yeah.
I think Game of Thrones, it cost $1 million and a half an episode. And the content we get from Game of Thrones and the special effects are out of this world. So imagine Favreau with $100 million budget with this thing.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's a lot of jetpacks.
It's a lot of...
You do need to animate a lot of jetpacks.
That's right.
Yeah, I want to see just a bunch of crew jetpacking, just around
all
stuff.
around,
yeah,
zipping through the galaxy.
They don't even have to be going anywhere.
Right,
just still in a loop.
Yeah,
who wouldn't do that?
Figure eights.
Who wouldn't do that? Now, a side of a connected news story, and that is one a little bit close to my heart. This is one's from the Boba Fett fan club, at Boba Fett fan club. And exclusive, Jeremy Bulloch's retirement announcement. More info about autograph requests and comments for him here. And Jeremy Bulloch, of course, played Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. I think he was he in the Phantom Menace? Or was he in Attack of the Clones? Maybe he was in the Phantom Menace as some sort of pilot. He definitely piloted something. But he writes, "Dear friends, it is with a heavy heart that I've decided to stop attending conventions and hang up the Fett helmet. It has not been an easy decision to make. In 1979, I was called onto the set of Empire Strikes Back to play Boba Fett, and since that day, it has changed the entire direction of my life in such a wonderful way. It has been a privilege to have had the opportunity to inspire so many generations of Star Wars fans. I have had over 20 years of traveling with my wife, Maureen, to some amazing countries and have met so many wonderful fans. Thank you all so much, and we will miss you all. May the Force be with you always, Jeremy."
Right.
Now,
nice.
this sort of hit me a little bit, because I think Jeremy Bulloch was the first person out of Star Wars I ever saw in real life.
Oh, wow.
So he came to a convention in the mid-90s down in Melbourne, Australia, that Star Walking had, the Force 2 convention. And it was him, Steven Sansweet, and Kenny Baker.
Oh, wow.
So it was really cool. And they actually announced the Phantom Menace cast. Steve Sansweet announced it at our convention.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty weird.
It's pretty weird.
Because it wasn't to 1,000
bizarre.
people.
Yeah. Was it just, how was this announcement done? I'm so fascinated. Were you just hanging out in the lobby of the convention center and he's like, "Oh, by the way, here's some breaking news."
It was amplified. There was a little lectern sort of thing. And but yeah, to my knowledge, that was the first time it had ever been announced.
That's so interesting.
That's crazy.
Now is so strange.
I was young when those movies came out, because Phantom Menace came out in 99.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was 13. So for me, I don't really have any recollection of casting announcements, because to me it was just, oh, here's this cool poster of tiny child with a Darth Vader shadow.
Yeah, I just remember not knowing who anyone was.
Yeah,
I knew Ewan McGregor and Natalie
I knew who
Portman.
Ewan McGregor was. Yeah.
And
I knew who Liam Neeson was, but I can't think why. I think it was just one of those things where my parents were like, "You should know who Liam Neeson is, and here's other things he's done."
You have to find out about him someday.
Well, because he was married to Natasha Richardson.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, so and I knew who she was. So.
And Liam Neeson was a big deal then.
Yeah.
He was the only one that was after Schindler's List and everything.
Yeah,
he just started his career. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Samuel L. Jackson was in that initial announcement or not.
I feel like not.
I don't think so.
But it had a real effect on me, because I was I didn't really have any Star Wars friends, so I was very excited to go to this convention and sort of just see people talk about. I remember finding out that the fan club existed and just like going, "This is
this is my calling."
Star Wars fans are gathering.
This is real.
Like this is amazing. Like I actually was like, I couldn't believe it. I was so stoked. But to hear Jeremy Bulloch talk about his time on the set, it was so shocking to me that he liked the film and that he was into it, and he had all like, it was like his enthusiasm and like hearing his behind the scenes stories that sort of went, I can find out the behind the scenes stories from all these people if I listen to them enough. And because it was such, there was no like YouTube and that sort of stuff. It was such a like, I've got him for this hour. I'm just going to sit there and just like soak it in. But he would do like the movements and the line.
That's very cool.
Yeah, even though like he didn't, it was never his voice that you heard, but he sort of had it down.
Right.
And his enthusiasm for it really like stoked me out. That people that were it hadn't occurred to me that people that were in the film liked the film. Mm-hmm. Like I sort of thought it was just.
Imagine being him, putting on that suit, and then for the next 30 years of your life.
You're just an icon.
You're an icon.
Know what I mean?
And nobody's ever even heard your voice.
Yeah, because I mean, that is the thing about Boba Fett that I think is interesting as a character is, and it was a similar thing that happened with Darth Maul in Phantom Menace, where you have this really cool looking character who mostly, as far as I can tell, exists to sell toys because they don't really do all that much ultimately. Right. But still, I mean, Boba Fett was that first image that we had of what we now associate as being, the Mandalorian armor. And he was such a cool looking character. I had a weird childhood obsession with Boba Fett where like anytime you had to name, so like we'd play like Monopoly on the Sega Genesis or Life. And I would always name myself Boba Fett for some inexplicable reason, but that was my go-to.
That's awesome. That's great.
Because I think before like fandom really sort of got going with all that expanded universe stuff, like knowing Boba Fett was like, Boba Fett, you know about him.
You know who that is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very cool. Now, this story I loved, and this one's actually from Instagram, but I'm going to go with it anyway. But this is Dan Mindel, who is the cinematographer on Star Wars Episode 9. Yes. He was the cinematographer on Star Wars Episode 7, and he posted this amazing photo. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Of the lighting rig?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And, there's a bit of set in there, and it just says, space lights, unbeatable quality source of ambient lighting, 6,000 watts, 6 lamps, or 3,000 watts, 3 lamps. I don't know what any of that watt business means, but it looks impressive. So people... And I, myself, did go, oh my God, this is a shot of the Episode 9 set. Mm-hmm. But as it turns out, it was from John Carter of Mars.
No.
Yes.
Like, I didn't know that either. Yeah. Oh, no. That's awful. I saw that. I'm like, that's so beautiful.
But I just like that this was like a big thing for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And I feel like he accidentally trolled the Star Wars audience, or maybe he did it intentionally.
Yeah, maybe.
I can't see how it was an accident. I can't see. But I'm so glad I only spent a little while staring at it, trying to work out the bits. Like I didn't really have time to invest and then when I was sort of going to sit down to do it, I found out on that's what they need, like Star Wars Snopes to verify this stuff. But although Star Wars Twitter likes to do that itself. So one of the big tweets of the week is nothing. Nothing. But then we've got 2 more, and then we're going to get to people's calls. So if you are listening live, it's 646-668-8360. Add a +1 if you're international on Skype, and you got that graphic down the bottom. Oh, what an age!
He's on top of it.
How do you feel about this, Iraj? Just next to you, there's a phone number.
Right here?
Yeah, I think.
It's over like here? Right here.
Yeah.
Please call in.
Please don't stroke the phone number.
Just give me a Vanna White.
Do not stroke the phone number.
It's
not that type of show.
I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize. I'll hold it up.
Okay. Oh my God. It's shocking. But so I've got 2 super fun ones. The next one's very self-indulgent. It is I should have shown you these before, but it's that one, Star Wars Rules, and it is of. I went to the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back concert at the Hollywood Bowl on Saturday night, and come on, Rashad, listen, buddy.
I just feel sad for myself. I have no one to blame but myself.
That's very on brand of you.
Well, you didn't get to go? Oh, okay.
But he was invited. He was definitely invited.
I was.
It was very sad.
You just chose not to enjoy your life.
I have a lot of family obligations.
Steele's your new family, buddy.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what I've been trying to teach him. But the picture, if those watching at home, is of the Hollywood Bowl, a little video I took of every time someone used the Force, everyone put up their lightsabers.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's like I think there's like 10,000 people there, and then you've got like 1,000 lightsabers.
Yeah, way more than that still. It's 23,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hollywood Bowl is crazy.
Well, 2,000 lightsabers then. I'm going to up my lightsabers. But the whole night, so how it is, they have an orchestra playing, and you get to watch Empire Strikes Back on the big screen. But just the fun. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just the Star Wars fun of it. Like, every time a new character would come on, like, people would cheer. When I loved this, when Leia kissed Luke, 23,000 people groaning as well.
That's awesome.
That's great.
But yeah, just cheers after big moments and stuff. And, you know, like sometimes Star Wars fandom, particularly like online and stuff, can be quite, you know, oppressive and negative. But it's just, it's time to, you know, sometimes to put down your quibbles and just go, we're idiots that like a space film, you know, let's go with it.
Right.
And it was tremendous. And I have to say, new rule for cinemas or any sort of public performance, if of Star Wars, if you're watching Star Wars and you're a child, maybe under the age of 6 or younger, and you know the names of the characters, call them out. Call them out. If you've got advice for them, I'd like to know. Because there was a little boy behind me and Jared, and we were just in tears.
That's amazing.
He's, you know, in Cloud City when like Luke he falls and then he lands down and then all the boxes are getting thrown at him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Little boy's just like, why is he still there? Why is he still there?
Why is he taking it?
And I'm just like, yeah, why is he still there? Get out of there, Skywalker. This is not working out.
It's not happening.
But a weird thing, this is my advice to the Lucasfilm Corporation, Lucasfilm Limited, all rights reserved. Got to step up the merch at these concerts. Got to step them up. There was a couple of dedicated T-shirts.
Sure.
The Empire one wasn't to my taste, but for some reason, so they were having A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, but then there was a Star Wars concert T-shirt with Kylo Ren on it.
Just random.
No,
Kylo Ren's not in those movies. That
you don't get to do that.
No.
If you're not projecting him on the screen,
You can't sell product.
no merch, dog.
Yeah.
No merch.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, and this is just if you're just like making money as a corporation. They didn't have official lightsabers for sale.
That was my question, did they not have lightsabers for sale? Because that seems like a tremendous oversight to me, especially because in addition to them being lightsabers, you could add that concert branding to it as well.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
you can
thinking.
Make tons of
they
them.
had like the bootleg ones. Like so they had tons of like off-brand ones. No. They had ones with like crystal balls
That
on
looked
the end
like
of
a
them.
little-
I know exactly what you're talking about. They sell those at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal.
There's abhorrent.
I'm sorry. Were they giving any away for free?
No.
No,
okay.
not to my not to the cheap seats anyway.
I got to see John Williams this year at the Hollywood Bowl, and he did all his different things, and he didn't come out until the very end. And he did 4 or 5 Star Wars pieces in a row, but the same exact thing.
What do you mean he didn't come out till the end?
Well, you know, he's up there in age, so he doesn't. He comes out and says hello, and somebody else conducts, and then at the
No way!
Yeah.
I'm going next month. I want 90 minutes of Williams.
You won't
Williams,
you will not get 90 minutes of Williams.
pick up the pace, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what we thought too. And then we didn't think he was coming out at all. And then he came out at the end, and the place just erupted. It was amazing. It was unbelievable. Yeah. And the lightsabers were up there.
Do you think, like, while he is not on, he can sit next to me?
He could.
You could ask him.
I don't know if you can get up to those seats though.
Yeah, true.
If you're on the benches.
But I just don't understand why they don't have, like, someone like Hasbro doesn't have like one with a little sticker on it.
Yeah.
Star Wars concerts. Yeah. It's like you're leaving thousands and thousands.
Seems like
of
a no-brainer to me.
So much money,
and also promoting so it's not like the actual Hollywood Bowl is selling the bootleg lightsabers.
Sure,
but then because I love in LA, I'm not sure if this is everywhere in America. But they have like the bootleg T-shirt sailors
everywhere in America.
Everywhere.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow. So I always just like to see, like I don't know, I just like the activity.
Yeah.
I like seeing what their bootleg T-shirts are, and I like to see them like watch the price go from $20 to $5 in like the moment you walk past them. It's amazing. But they didn't have bootleg T-shirts, but they were peddling the bootleg lightsabers as well.
Oh.
It just seemed, I don't know, you're just letting money drip down the drain on that one. But the concert was amazing, and it was so much fun, and it definitely made me reinvigorated my love of Star Wars fans.
That's very cool.
Now, our final tweet is a Star Wars fan that I am very fond of, and that is Richard E. Grant.
Oh, yes.
Did you see this tweet? Oh my God. He writes, from left field came a call from my agent about a generic audition scene I'd self-taped a couple months ago. Star Wars, courtesy of casting director Nina Gold. #Star Wars. And there's a little video. You guys have to check this out at it's Richard E. Grant on Twitter. But he tears up about working in Star Wars.
I have watched this video, and it is just so heartwarming. Because again, it goes back to what you were saying earlier, Steele, about the people working on this franchise also being fans of it. And of course, now it's coming from a different perspective of it's been around for a while, so you have more people. It's not as surprising, let's say, for people who are working on the series to be.
And I have to say, if one more licensee that makes a video about how they love Star Wars, it's like, yeah, it's cool, dude. We all love Star Wars.
We get it. We get it.
Yeah, we get it. We get it. Now just tell us about the video game, buddy.
Yeah.
Right. The video is amazing, and the exuberance he has and the pure joy he has of just being in a Star Wars film is exactly what Star Wars fans want to see. So yeah, I love it.
And it was quite touching that, he's not a newbie to the biz.
Oh, not at all. I love him in Spice World, unironically.
It's the best way to love the Spice World. So that was just tremendous. But let's take some calls.
Nice. Let's do it.
So it's 646-668-8360. We have got a Patreon supporter, King Tom, calling in from Ohio. Tom, you there, buddy?
Yes, hello. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for being taken or something. It's I don't know. Thanks for calling, Tom. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, so yeah, great show. It's great listening to you, Emma and Iraj. But I did have a few do's and don'ts if I can share.
You forgot about Steele, buddy.
I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine with you not mentioning Rashad, but come on, I'm on the screen.
Oh,
ouch!
I forgot Rashad. You know what? I've heard Rashad's voice several times tonight. It's always good hearing him.
Thanks. I'm glad somebody feels that way.
Oh gosh.
And you too, Steele. And you too.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Appreciate it, Tom.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you're enjoying me on the show. Thanks for bringing that up. It's just nice to be, just to be appreciated out there on the internet. You put yourself out there, and it's great to have listeners that mention you by name when they say they're enjoying the show. So thanks, I appreciate that, and I'm glad that was just a fluid conversation that happened naturally. What's on your mind tonight, mate?
So, do's and don'ts.
Yes.
I like to think I have a decent imagination. Sometimes I like to think I'm from Australia and everything like that.
Settle down, buddy.
And so I think about Star Wars a lot. And I have a headcanon, and I'm never disappointed when it's wrong. But I do have something I really want to see in Episode 9, something I really don't want to see. And I'm going to give you what I don't want to see first. I am fine with Kylo being redeemed, but I would like him to take some responsibility for what he's done in the past.
Right.
So I don't want to see redemption without sacrifice or realization, because I feel like if I had one problem with episode 8, and I absolutely love episode 8, but if I had one problem, it was that a lot of times the dark actions were not ascribed to the person taking those actions. Like when Luke said it was a Jedi Master responsible for the creation of Darth Vader. No, it was a guy who wasn't ever a Jedi Master who was responsible. It was Anakin Skywalker. And it just felt like there were moments in The Last Jedi where personal responsibility was not a part of the story. So I want Kylo to if they're going to redeem him, I'm fine with that. I don't consider myself a Reylo, but I'd like to see him take some personal responsibility for what he's done.
So what were you thinking, like 3 months without a cape, or
yes.
no dessert?
Put him back in the helmet. Put him back in the helmet.
No dessert.
The what about they do like that Star Wars Infinities comic and he just comes back good, but he's all white. He's just got a white.
He's just
all white. That would be
same exact costume, same exact everything, but now he's white
same
and has a blue crosshatch lightsaber.
He's Gandalf, pretty much.
He's Gandalf. Yeah. I like it.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know how I want to end like Kylo, because I try to keep in mind how Anakin Skywalker ended, and so I sort of how's it different? I'd like him. I would like him maybe to die knowing he was wrong.
Yeah,
right.
I think too, because I totally feel where you're coming from, Tom, on the you being okay if they do decide to do the redemption story arc, but ultimately just wanting him to take responsibility, or at least have some acknowledgement of being responsible for the problems that he has caused, which goes back to what you were saying, Steele, of it would be nice. I sort of feel like, he should die, but know that he made mistakes.
Because this is what interests me. Does he know that at the end Anakin Skywalker came back?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we don't really know what the galactic knowledge of Return of the Jedi is.
It's interesting because I feel like in some of the novels that take place in between the end of Return of the Jedi and beginning of Force Awakens, it's a lot of Darth Vader, and they don't really talk about the whole Anakin Skywalker thing, aside from being a problem for Leia that people find out that Darth Vader was her dad. So again, I'm not sure. I do believe that people know that he was Anakin Skywalker, but it's not like across the board kind of thing.
Yeah, not so much that they know it's the same person, but at the end he went, "Oh, that was pretty bad."
Yeah, I made some bad choices.
The fact that he killed the Emperor. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I think that is very much lost, that idea of Darth Vader ultimately becoming Anakin Skywalker and very much being the hero in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. So, like, because, do you know what I mean? You've got this thing of that Kylo's, like, wants to be like his granddad.
Yeah.
But then does
he know?
Does Anakin Skywalker come back in ghost form
Yeah.
to say, hey, being me wasn't so cool.
Yeah.
Stay off drugs.
But I think as far as sort of the general galactic knowledge is concerned, the fact that Anakin was Darth Vader, even if in the end he was the one who killed the Emperor, all of the terrible things that he did when he was Vader, he didn't make up for all of that bad by doing one good thing. Which, again, it kind of goes back to where we maybe want things to end for Kylo of, hey, buddy, you're a real bad person and you need to acknowledge it.
But the question that I have is, can Kylo Ren be redeemed without dying? In my opinion, I don't think it's.
I don't know.
I don't think it's possible. He has to sacrifice himself. He has to know that he did something wrong, and he has to step up and do something that's, I don't know,
I think it would be sort of interesting for him to just
I don't
die
see
still being
it. I don't
kind of a
see
piece
him
of shit.
redeeming himself and being alive at the end of this thing.
Yeah, and I know, like, like people want him to be redeemed and live happily ever after with Rey, and like, is that old thing of like, hey, if you do it right, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, but I also don't know if obviously, Rey and Kylo Ren had a connection in Last Jedi. romantic as it may be or not, but I don't know if Rey would just be willing to overlook all the bad stuff that Kylo's done at this point. Now that she gave him a chance and he turned on her.
Right. Right.
Do you think
She gave him a few.
Yeah, she gave him several chances.
Yeah.
Do you think Rey would be open to Twitch streaming with Kylo Ren?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, with the Force connection, I think it would make for some really interesting content. I wonder if through the Force they could actually manipulate the camera to just like switch between the two of them or do an instant kind of split stream. It'd be really interesting. Cool. Yeah.
Well, you just like project yourself into the other room.
Exactly.
Surely.
That's true.
Sure, it might kill you, but it would be worth it for the views.
Absolutely.
Sweet views.
They'd get more views than Ninja.
Now, King Tom, what do you want?
Yes. I want a scene where Finn is on a planet running from stormtroopers. There's a ship in the distance. He's running to the ship. Running with the ship. He gets close to the ship, and the ship just explodes.
Okay.
It happened in The Force Awakens. It happened in The Last Jedi.
I think we saw that.
You're going to love The Force Awakens.
I think it's happening.
I want to go 3 for 3.
I was going to say, you want to be 3 for 3 in these films.
Okay.
Gotcha.
What's The Last Jedi one?
On the beach in Canobite.
Yeah.
Of course. All right, so you just want more poetry. It's all connected. It's a rhyme.
Exactly. You know, if it doesn't happen, this whole ring theory, Star Wars poetry, all that stuff is a lie.
King Climo on the phone. Loving it. What an odd thing to be your number one. I just want to see the same thing happen again. Hope they got credits. Hope they got credits.
I'm a weird guy.
All right. I just want to find out that all the animals were used in a humane way in the credits.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I want. Okay, very interesting, Tom. Thank you for your call. It is always a delight to hear your Star Wars insight, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Nice, man. Talk to you soon.
Bye, King Tom.
Bye.
Okay, see ya. Goodbye.
All righty. So if you want to call in, that is 646-668-8360. We've got a few patrons here that have written in. That couldn't be with us.
Wow.
They've sent telegrams.
Telegrams.
To our nerd wedding.
Oh, very nice.
Extra effort.
Fraser Baxter, he says, have Ben Solo meet Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, I would like that, I think.
Yeah, well, my do is, I think my vague do. Mm-hmm. Like I would love to have like Force Ghost Luke talking to Force Ghost Anakin with Rey and Kylo there.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
And it could be like they can like fight and then yell at each other and have the ghost because you're concluding 9 films.
Right.
Yes.
But the main so that's like a little nerd thing. But the one do is I want Episode 9 to make me want to watch every other Star Wars movie.
Oh.
I think that's kind of along the lines of, as you were saying, of having the Force Ghosts. I want somebody to acknowledge Qui-Gon Jinn. Like, I would really like to see a Force Ghost Qui-Gon. Because the thing is, at this point, you have so many actors that have played those roles of characters that are Jedi, Force users, what have you, that have passed away. And you do have the opportunity to incorporate any number of them. Mm-hmm. So I would kind of like to see that. And as you say, kind of bring together all of these films, not just this trilogy.
Yes.
Amanda and Jess, when they were on the podcast, they mentioned that no one's... I'm doing the steel thing. I can't do the steel thing.
That's my gimmick. That's my gimmick.
Damn it.
All right, you can go. Just one time.
All right, thanks, Steel. Well, they were talking about how we've never seen a Force Ghost unless they're connected with a person that's in the screen with them.
Sure.
So bringing Qui-Gon and bringing Obi-Wan with Rey might not make sense.
I know.
But
I do want to see them. I mean, I would love to see Liam Neeson and Hayden.
In the films.
Right. In the
films. Yes.
Okay.
Because Yoda appeared to Ezra.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Very true.
So
and they never met each other.
I'm not sure.
See, I didn't bring that point up last week.
I'm not sure what sort of fake news that you're putting out there on your show.
Damn
but
it.
here, this is where the truth lives.
Right. Good point. Good point.
All right, we have got a call from 313, which hopefully we'll go through soon. 313, who are you and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Kyle. I'm calling from Connecticut.
Oh.
Kyle
Hey,
from
Kyle.
Connecticut. I'm just going to...
That's where I'm from originally.
Oh, wow.
Really?
It's Connecticut, yeah.
Nice.
Maybe you know Kyle.
Maybe. Kyle, do we know each
No, I
other?
moved here a year ago.
Oh,
Got
I
it.
moved here a year ago.
damn it.
What part of Connecticut?
It's Torrington, the Litchfield area.
Okay.
What's your exact address in case Emma lives in that apartment?
Yeah, and what's your email and your social security number?
Wah, 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 wah.
Dude, I think you're mocking how the show normally sounds. What are your do's and don'ts?
A big do for me is that at the end of Last Jedi, when they sent out the call for help and no one responds, which I can understand because the day before the First Order had nuked the Capitol, which would kind of scare a fair amount of people off. So I can understand that people wouldn't come to help Leia at that time, but if there is a time jump of a couple of years later and there's like a resistance fleet, like a much bigger one, like the one we see in Return of the Jedi, what I want to see is that something I've noticed in a lot of the post-Return of the Jedi books is that it always seems to end open-ended for these characters. Like the Phasma novel ends open-ended, Battlefront 2, the DLC stuff that came out right before with Last Jedi was open-ended. I think even the Bloodline was open-ended.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to see are those characters come in and be part of that fleet. Just kind of tie everything together for the new stuff.
I'm actually thinking, Kyle, that I am up for just, like, I just want JJ to, like, hire a dumpster truck, fan service,
Yeah,
and just dump it on my head.
Sure.
I'm right there with you.
I want Lando to rock up with,
Yep.
like, a fleet of Gungans, Ewoks,
Right.
clones.
Yep.
You can have some repurposed battle droids. I want, like...
I would love to
yeah.
see some battle
Like, get
droids.
some... He can, like call Lobot. Lobot can wrangle up some Ugnaughts, but
Yeah.
I'd love to see sort of like a ragtag fleet
Yeah.
of, you know, and then like you've like have Hondo, have like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I would love if Hondo Ohnaka was just secretly in the movie. Because I think that's the thing is the thing that would be kind of nice is, as you say, to bring in all those bits and pieces that we've gotten from all over Star Wars. Because at this point, the stuff that's happening in this trilogy is the latest stuff we have in the Star Wars timeline. So you could incorporate any number of things. Certainly not in a way that if you haven't delved into any expanded material that you would be put off by it. But if you have, there is something gratifying. Like I think about the like Rebels Easter eggs in Rogue One that just made me so happy. And like literally when I heard them announce General Syndulla over the loudspeaker, I actually like stood up and applauded, and everybody else in the theater thought I was crazy.
I smirked when I finally heard it on my third screen.
I know, I didn't get it till like 3 or 4 times.
I heard it the first time and I lost my mind.
That's cool.
But that's what I'm saying
Yeah, that's
is incorporating those little Easter eggs like that.
Sorry, Kyle?
Yeah, it took me a couple times to miss Syndulla's name.
Yeah.
But I saw Chopper immediately.
Yeah,
Chopper
Chopper.
was great.
You're a little bit fuzzy, so I'll just get Kyle. What is your do not?
Mine is a do not do a Star Killer based series.
No.
Yeah.
Or-
We're all in agreement on
Or
that.
Trench
Their
Run,
haters
or
complaining
Trench
about Star Killer base. They do that again. They're gonna fuel for a decade.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey Kyle, thanks so much for your call. I'm sorry, you're a little bit muffled, so I'm not sure if you need to grab a headset for your next time, but make sure there is a next time, because we want to keep hearing from you, buddy. Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Bye, Kyle.
Bye.
We've actually got the lines free, so if you want to call in before we wrap up, it's 646-668-8360. We'll head over to Emily in the chat room pretty soon. But I remember when they revealed that Starkiller base and just that Death Star shape. I think it was they revealed that on the poster. Was that the first time you ever saw it? Might have been the poster.
I think it might have been the poster.
Yeah, I sort of was just going, oh, okay. Like it was, I was sort of like...
The sphere didn't work the first 2 times.
You
Why are we
really-
going for the third?
Yeah.
Like I sort of understand, like, you can, like, well, if it didn't work and you think it's a sweet plan, I'm going to try again. You know what I mean? Like they kept trying to.
Yeah.
Like like when bombs don't work.
They keep trying to make more bombs. I think that kind of again goes back to this whole idea of Kylo Ren being such a Darth Vader fanboy, which is why I kind of bought that he would try to do the exact same thing that Darth Vader did, to be like, I'm gonna do it, and this time it's gonna work, and then like I'll truly be carrying on your legacy the way you would have wanted.
Exactly.
That's kind of how I feel about Starkiller Base.
You'll love it, Darth. You'll love it. Before we go to Emily, I just want to give a plug. If you can get us a graphic there, Rashad, for the Mercho store, where you can get cool little T-shirts like this that I make up. That I'm with Snoke. Look,
very nice.
Now Emma's Snoke.
Yeah, pointing at you.
And now Iraj is Snoke.
I love it.
And now Rashad is Snoke off camera. He gives us the thumbs up. So you can check those out and all the other T-shirts like the Your Snoke Theory Sucks and all that at merchostore.com. The link is through steelwars.com if you want to find that. And also, if you want to support the show on Patreon for weekly bonus content from just 25 cents a week, you get all our back catalogue and a bonus show a week. That's on the $1 a month tier. And on the $3 a month tier, you get all the bonus shows, which are normally like 2 or 3 a week.
It's a steal.
Huh?
It's a steal, literally.
It's a steal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. We tried to record. We've got a new one coming out with Hawes.
Oh, yeah.
Where we're going to go through the Star Wars year by year book and talk about all the articles.
Cool. Can't wait.
But Hawes had an absolute meltdown with his technical issues. So we recorded a 10-minute sizzle, which is up on the Patreon now. But he sent me photos today of all the new equipment. Like while we were recording, he was ordering new stuff. Because we want to do video of it as well. So you can check that out. And there's a brand new episode of Making Steel Wars, which is our little news behind the news show we do with Jason Ward from Making Star Wars. 50 minutes of that is up on the Patreon. But let's go to Emily. And Emily, what's your do and don't?
I want Ray to be happy.
Oh, that's the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
It's just very important to me that at the end Ray is happy, and I want her to be like surrounded by the family that she's made with Finn and Poe and Rose and all of her friends.
How about at the end of episode 9, she's happy with the reincarnated, now good Director Krennic?
Ooh, I'm sure she would be happy about that. That's for sure.
Hey? Bit of Mendo and Daisy Ridley? Oh my God.
That's a fan fiction waiting to happen.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Someone's actually writing that fanfic right now.
It's Emily. She's doing it right now.
What wouldn't I give to be in that sandwich? Oh my God. I wouldn't know which way to turn. 2 very charming humans that we get to share the planet with.
Yes.
And what you do not do, maybe what I just said.
Do not revive Director Krennic.
I don't know why, but lately I've been really worried that Poe might die.
Ooh.
And I need that to not happen.
Well, he was supposed to, and so we'll see.
Yeah, that would be a rough
I do
one.
think that of sort of the new heroes, he initially felt like the one that would have been most likely to die, but I have to agree with you, Emily, that I think that aside from just personally not wanting him to die, that it would be a disservice to the character to have him die just based on the amount of setup and character growth that he had in Last Jedi. He had such a good arc in that movie from just hotshot, I think I'm always right, I always just jump in head first because I'm invincible pilot, to, oh wait, there are consequences for your actions and I need to grow and learn and truly become a leader within the Resistance. So I think it would be very bad. I would be very upset to see him get killed as well.
And I know this is the end of the Skywalker saga.
Yes.
But does that mean it's the
Apparently.
end? Apparently.
Because this is the 3rd time
that they've said it was the end.
Right.
Yes.
It's my favorite lie.
Yeah, exactly. But does this mean that we're done with all the characters? Because if we're not done with all the characters here and there in little standalone films, then getting rid of Poe is a big mistake because having him show up on screen.
Oh yeah, in other films,
or something.
Yeah, or even just any other characters that take place within that timeline. Again, I felt very much, and obviously I am thrilled that they have enough unused footage of Carrie Fisher that they are going to be able to incorporate Leia into this film. But initially, at the end of Last Jedi, because of how much great setup they had given Poe, I almost felt like, oh, we're going to have a time jump and it's going to start with Leia's funeral and now Poe is leading the resistance.
That's exactly what I thought.
You know what I mean? So, but if you have stories that continue after this that are taking place, you know, within the world or stuff that's happening concurrently right before, like Poe already was a character, so I do think that he is a character that is primed to show up elsewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
Just jump in a ship and do some sassies. And
That's all I need.
That's all I need.
That's it.
That first part of The Last Jedi, where he shoots all the cannons and then does like the sweet like BMX sassy.
It's beautiful.
Sometimes, like when you see it for the first time, it just gives you such like a visceral 5-year-old reaction. Like the 5-year-old just is inside you, just like going, yeah!
I did that in the theater. I didn't need to do it inside. Just standing up. It was beautiful.
What's the talk of the chat room, Emily? What are they saying?
Let's see. I got some of these down. We have Seth Owen, who wants to see Chewie and Porg having some adventures.
I would be there. I'm here for that. I'm here for Chewie and Porg adventure.
That is a big question of episode 9.
Is will there be Porgs?
Back. They went in the Falcon, right? So we were going to get a Porgs.
Yeah.
They were sellers.
My big one is definitely Ewoks to come back. So, just give me all the creatures. Give me Ewoks.
His head would explode.
Give me Loth Cats. Just give me all the creatures.
Sorry, you reminded me of one of my favorite points of my Ewok theory. Because I just want them all to come back. I think it'd be dope. Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
Oh.
Back.
Heck yeah.
Like, back in his original
really
role.
Cool. Yeah,
that'd be great.
Amazing.
Dude, I got goosebumps. The thought of like a grown Wicket, my childhood friend, coming back to help, and he was leading the Ewoks. I might be sending this franchise down a path it does not. It doesn't think it should take.
No, especially on Twitter.
I want it to go that way, but I understand.
I would love to see it.
Maybe Luke Skywalker will call in and tell me that this isn't going to go the way you think.
Right.
But anything else there, Emily?
Yes, a couple more. We have Andy Campbell, who wants to see Rey taking down troopers in a corridor.
I mean,
doesn't want to see an explanation for Rey's parents.
Heck, yes.
That's my no.
An explanation for what?
Rey's parents.
Let's leave the issue as it is. It was resolved in Last Jedi. Her parents were nobody. The end. Move on.
Done.
Okay. Oh, so they don't want an explanation.
Correct.
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I don't want one either.
Yeah.
It's been explained. This is if you're going to retcon the Rey's parents thing, this is how you do it.
Okay.
Right? You make it the alternate future Luke Skywalker and Cammy from the Jason Fry novelization. They went to Jakku, they got loaded one night, they had Rey, and they left her there in the alternate timeline. And it's like Terminator Genesis, you know, the two timelines merge for no real reason. You walk out the cinema wanting to, like...
Yeah.
I wanted to yell at James Cameron for saying this one was going to be really good, all right? So, but anyway, so that's... You have to, like, cross over the timelines, and, you know, you can make it... It was Luke Skywalker, the alternate Luke Skywalker drunk version.
Just hammered version.
If you haven't read, like, the Last Jedi novel, just do it. Just go into Barnes & Noble, right? Or a bookshop, and just read the first chapter. It is amazing. Have you read it?
It's very good.
No, I haven't read it.
Oh, my... Is it... Can I just talk about it?
Yeah, I think you can talk about it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, you've waited...
Yeah, we waited too long.
Yeah, in fact, you disgust me.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Oh, you read this? She read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it.
I'm sorry. I'm out of here.
It's okay.
The original So the first chapter is Luke Skywalker having a dream about his alternate future where he didn't go with Ben Kenobi.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And he gets married to Cammy, who must have broken up with Fixer, I guess. And he's like, he dreams about the woman that he saw in the hologram. So he still sees all that stuff, but Ben Kenobi goes and he doesn't go. And and he's left with this longing in his life of that he missed his calling, and it haunts him.
That is crazy.
And it's an amazing...
It's insane. Well, and I think that it's one of those things, and it's something that they're doing really well as well in the Last Jedi comics, is really delving more into Luke's psyche, which I thought was one of the strongest points for me of Last Jedi, was the fact that you were dealing with this person who was experiencing the repercussions of having been put on a pedestal his whole life.
Yeah.
So
I haven't hit that one yet. I sort of got off the comics.
Okay.
But then I was hearing all this buzz about the latest Darth Vader.
Oh, the Darth Vader comics are so good.
I've heard nothing but great things.
And the Darth Vader Annual.
Rashad
I got Darth Vader Annual 2, and then I got the Vader one. I think it's maybe 49. I don't know. It's when he's like with Tarkin.
Yes.
They're hunting him.
Oh,
and then there's one.
It's so good.
The one after that as well. 3 bangers.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's sort of the comics that I like, where it doesn't... I don't like it when they redefine things. I like it when they just fill in a bit of detail.
Yes.
And that the one that stands out to me the most is the Annual, and how that like goes into the interweaving relationships of like Tarkin, Vader, Krennic, and the Emperor. It's just like...
Oh, Krennic's in it as well.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
and
Okay.
I do have to say on the negative, there is possibly the most unflattering depiction of Ben Mendelsohn in this comic. it looks,
Heartbreaking.
Like he's so attractive and charming in real life.
it looks more like, you know, that
He
weird,
does look a little weird the way they draw him. I won't disagree with that.
it looks more like that squashed up, you know, that meme face?
the meme face.
Like, you know, that like weird cartoon where he's like, it looks more like that than,
It does.
Oh,
Yeah, it doesn't look like Mendo.
than the beautiful Benjamin Mendelsohn. You with me, Emily, or what?
He is beautiful.
I'm just glad that it's somebody besides me who's like making it all about Mendo this time.
Hey. Wait there, I'll get this down while we're talking Mendo. Bring this up.
There he is.
Just put this here.
Oh,
you
look
guys.
at him.
Signed cape.
Signed.
That is beautiful.
He signed it sitting right there. So
I feel
you're
very
lucky.
like that my butt is in the same
After you
place
get
that
up,
his
I'm just
was.
going to rub my butt on that section. That's okay. That's not
we
okay.
can't edit this, mate. That's
I
there.
apologize.
That's there. He's a. I don't know. I'll run through a few of the ones we've had messaged in. Matthew Thurbin from Australia. Do have a flashback scene where Luke confronts Kylo after he burns down the Jedi Temple. #ignite the green. Interesting. Don't have another useless Maz Kanata hologram scene.
Yeah.
Oh.
Big don't. That was my head shaker.
Is that your dope?
I just don't. I don't think I wouldn't use it. And we've got Jerry.
Jerry.
He's come the HYPERCAT.
Jerry.
And even Jerry's got his own graphic now. So what a world where a cat gets to promote his Twitter account on a YouTube channel. Little buddy, excited about Wicket coming back? It's confirmed. It's confirmed, buddy. Look at Mendo. Do you want to talk to Mendo? Remember when he came?
Sweet content.
Mendo loved Jerry, by the way.
What's not to love?
Yeah, which was the one question that Jackie asked. The first question was like, did he comment on Jerry? Mm-hmm. I'm like, yes, several times. And she's like,
Perfect.
oh,
How can you not?
Fine. The Maz Kanata scene, it's better on Star Tours, trust me. Aaron Taylor says, do not undo anything Rian Johnson did in The Last Jedi just to appease a certain segment of the fan base.
I'm nodding emphatically.
100% agree.
Yeah. Even if you don't like it, it's what's done is done.
Yeah.
It is. Leave it alone.
Now, right around it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right around it. Yes, Aaron Taylor. Wicket cameo.
Yes.
There it is. There it is.
Even if it doesn't make any sense.
Something to do with Ewoks.
Just walking back.
And then
walking around.
hashtag Ewok fan service.
Yeah.
I have a request.
Yeah, sure.
Could he be a hacker?
A slicer.
A slicer, exactly.
Oh.
As we know, that's canon now. That they
Yeah,
can do that.
I actually, I should hate that. Like that, there's an Ewok slicer. Like it just, like at first I was like, ugh, and then I was like, who cares? I'll just ignore it.
How does
like,
he touch the keyboards?
I don't know.
He has fingers.
Yeah,
They're
but you
kind
get
of like
big keys.
paws.
Right? Yeah,
They're like
little
bear
paws.
paws.
Yeah.
They make special keyboards.
Be like
tiny
if Jerry
murder
was doing
bears.
it, you know?
Yeah. Jerry, are you a slicer?
He's with his hands, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally
When
a
he's,
slicer.
when he's in a bad mood, he can slice through most things.
Look, he heard you.
But yeah, I gotta get this wicked cameo. What about? Have you said your do's and do nots yet?
I haven't.
Okay, what are yours, Rashad?
The big one. I want to see a Hayden ghost.
Okay.
Talking to, probably just talking to Kylo, being like, "Oh, what is you doing? No thanks." My big don't. I have a few. I would say no more Death Stars, no more Star Killers, like we said before. And I'm not really a big fan of Reylo. I feel like we've discussed all this before, so I don't want Kylo to say, you know what, I made a mistake. I'm going to be a good guy getting out
Yeah.
with no
I agree.
repercussion, no consequence
Sure.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then he throws on some white robes and everybody has a Ewok party in Endor.
The whole thing with Reylo, whether you like want them to get together or not, they're just fictional characters.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like when Courtney was here last week, I was like, I don't really understand. Like I understand why people want it, and I understand why people don't want it. But why are they so emotional about it?
Oh, Steele, it's shipping is that's a dangerous territory to get into.
I'll stay away from it. But I'm
It's
just,
cold, buddy.
It's
Look, I'm not a professional in any way, in any regard. So maybe there's a way they can do that. It makes sense and it's fine. But just right now, as it stands, I'm not really a big fan of that.
I'm open
Wow.
because I'll be too busy cheering Wicket's return to care.
Yeah, you're not going to care about anything.
Iraj, what are your do's and don'ts?
Well, my don'ts, we talked about earlier, I don't think they should mess with Rey's lineage at all. Just leave it alone.
It's so weird when you talk to people how they just ignore things that happen in the movies because they didn't like it.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
It's odd.
there's nothing. Like both films sort of like lend credence to like she's no one.
Yeah.
Like and I love that, especially now. Like with one might argue that one of the biggest problems in the world is like the inheritance of importance and like
True.
unearned importance and
True.
stuff. So I think that having her come from like nothing is like it's dope.
It's fantastic. Look, Obi-Wan came from nowhere, as far as we know.
Yeah.
Mace Windu came from nowhere, as far as we know. Yoda came from nowhere, as far as we know. Why can't Rey come from somewhere that we don't know any background about? So I don't.
I know why.
I know why, too.
Do you know why, Emma?
I mean, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Emily knows why.
But I have my due. Can I give you my due?
Yeah.
My due is, I was thinking about this while I was driving here in 2-hour traffic. I was thinking about Lando. And I want to see Lando walk into the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon and just take it all in. And I don't want them to do it where we see it in the trailer or a teaser or a TV spot, because I think they ripped that away from us with Mark Hamill, with Luke. When I saw that in the trailer of the TV spot, I was so upset, because that should have been the feels we got in the theater.
Yeah.
Not watching it on a big screen at home.
Yeah.
Have some resolve. Have some, I don't know, like just pick the clips you're going to put out.
Yes.
And just, you don't have to like keep milking them
You
out as
don't.
it gets closer.
Yeah.
People like Star Wars. I don't know if people know this. So
Yeah.
they're going to go see it. They don't need to tease us
But
with Mark
I
Hamill.
agree.
And adding extra clips,
Right.
it doesn't, I don't think it does
No.
anything really.
Exactly.
Like I sort of tried to switch off for the end of Solo, but then in the cinema, so like I was like one of the best nights ever. Got to go to the premiere, but then like they're showing the live stream from outside with like Andy and that, but they're showing all the clips, and so I'm seeing new clips
Right.
of the film before.
You've even gone in to see
Yeah,
the movie.
not cool.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm in the movie.
Yeah.
I've gone in.
Yeah. And you're still seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just chill out. I thought there was too much in Solo, a bit too much of the cool lines were spoiled in.
Yes.
Like I thought they could have just cut out a couple of those.
Well, I think also because we already knew so many of them, it's part of the reason that the film felt so pandering in a way is because we'd heard those lines so many times already in the trailers that you, at that point, you kind of go, yeah, we get it. It's a Han Solo thing. And there was certainly a fair amount of winking at the camera, in my opinion, that happened in that film. And I enjoyed it overall.
That was something in my eye.
But
I said camera, not screen.
Yeah, but I do think that because so much of it was in the marketing for it, that you were kind of over it by the time you got to the movie.
Yeah. And just some really like classic.
Yep.
Like even like seeing the ship fly off and it was like that should be like a huge laugh.
Right.
Or the whole the one that stood out to me was the Chewie, oh, you know how to pilot. Oh, you look, you're 190 years, you look great.
Yeah.
Like that is like the little Kasdans.
Yeah.
When they wrote that day.
Classic.
They would have like just walked out.
Yeah.
Just father and son.
Right.
Good day's work.
Yep.
But then in the cinema, because everyone had seen it.
Seen it already.
Yeah, it sort of just got like a, I don't know, just like, we're just going to admit that's funny. But it's not.
Yeah, it was like a polite acknowledgement of the fact that a joke had happened.
Right. Bravo. Yeah. Bravo. Yeah. Very amusing. Very amusing.
Yeah.
Very amusing. I just thought of, I've blanked on my don't do. Oh! I just thought of my don't do. Don't have Lando, like, do all these Solo callbacks.
Yeah.
Don't have it. No patting the Falcon and all that.
No.
Because there's two reasons. One, he's already flown in the Falcon
in Jedi.
In Return of the Jedi. So if there was a time to touch that part of the panel, that's done. Two, if you if you make it sort of canon that she's actually like in there as herself and not just
Oh, the droid?
L3.
Yeah.
L3.
Like, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That she got trapped in this ship and then he like lost her in a gambling thing and then like it's bad vibe. So just make it's like her like, essence, like, the attitude and the knowledge is there, but it's not actually her per se in there.
Right.
What do you think about that, Emily?
Oh, definitely. It's not something that you want to acknowledge because, like you said, if you think about it in the slightest, it's really creepy.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a real bummer.
Yeah.
What are yours?
Well, I mean, obviously one of my do's is just bring back all Star Wars creatures. I want Ewoks back for sure. Porgs are a given, I feel. I also think...
What about Ewoks throwing porgs?
I mean, if it's like, if it's a strategic move where they're teaming up, I'm for it. I'm for it.
Better. Gungans with those catapults. And then when the Ewoks hit peak, then they've got porgs like on those ropes. And then
oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god.
Wow. Imagine the playset.
I mean, that would sell a lot of toys, and also I feel like strategically great moves.
Good call on that one.
But yeah, I mean, but I would also like to again kind of just like we were talking about earlier, just see all those sort of like little Easter eggs come in from all throughout. For example, we were talking at the beginning of this episode about Mandalorians. I don't need like a whole explanation of what's going on with Mandalorians in this timeline, but I'd love to see them. Yeah. Exactly. Again, it's acknowledging that this film is the culmination of 9 films, not of just 3 films.
Yes.
And then, as far as the don'ts go, I think we kind of covered it with the don't undo anything that Rian Johnson did just because there were angry fanboys.
Yeah. Actually, one of my big JJ don'ts has already been covered with it's don't keep Mark Hamill a secret.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, that was it was I thought it was going to happen, but I just needed it out of the way.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Emily, thank you so much for your help in the chat room. Would you like to tell the internet about your entertaining podcast?
Yes, yeah, I do a podcast called The Canto Bite Research. I do it with Brittany Brown. We've called it on the show many times, so you listeners are probably familiar with her. And we just the other good time. We try to mostly talk about Star Wars, but we end up talking about other things a lot. And we do a feature once a month where we talk about a Ben Mendelsohn movie. The one this month is going to be Go West. And actually, excitingly, tomorrow is our 1-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Happy anniversary.
Happy podiversary. I coined a new word. Very good. Hey, congratulations, and thanks so much, mate.
Thank you.
Bye, Emily.
Bye.
Alrighty. Producer Rashad, what would you like to let us know about? What do you got? You got any Will Communication podcasts coming up?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because actually we're dropping a new episode tomorrow morning.
Dude, when we rehearsed this before, I said do it naturally.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Glad you asked.
Me and Rashad, we do. We've got scripts.
Yeah,
So,
We've got scripts.
that's why it's 2 weeks apart, the shows, because it takes us 2 weeks to
remember.
Perfect
Yeah.
the scripts,
Yeah.
because I mean, I have multiple passes.
I want to see the
edit them,
storyboards.
and-
Right.
Yeah.
And Steele's a very good, mentor in this community. I've got a little sizzle for you. If you tune in the end of tomorrow's episode, you might hear me do a little Salacious Crumb.
Oh.
Yeah, but what will make people want to listen?
You want people to actually listen to the
Kindness.
podcast?
Generosity, sympathy. Jerry, he likes the
Jerry.
show.
Content.
But you can find us at Will Communication on Twitter, and I'm on Twitter at iCosm. You can find me however you find people on Twitter. I'm getting off the mic. I'm done.
Excellent. Iraj, thanks for joining us. Thanks for
it's
driving. And I did notice before that you did slip in a little complaint about how long it took to get here as well. So I thank you for that. I thank you for your 2 hours of traffic. When you said it, I know I got the little, undercurrent.
I wasn't complaining to you. I'm complaining to Southern California. It's just
It's
awful.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, the traffic's pretty terrible.
It is worth driving 2 hours to get here. It was a blast. I had an absolute blast.
Cheers, man. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
And your latest podcast is up with the Rebel Girl.
The Rebel Girls came on the Sith list, and it was a great episode. And we've had Ralphie from Cake Boss a couple weeks ago came on, so that was a good time. He's awesome. Yeah, so you can check us out on Twitter at the Sith list, and we're on all the different podcast platforms. So check us out.
I went to the Scum and Villainy Cantina with Ralph.
Yeah, he told me.
Wow.
Good guy.
That guy can go.
He can go, and he's really informative too. His fandom is broad, from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to diehard Star Wars fan to anything you can think. Dungeons, Dragons, D&D. He is awesome, and he's amazing at what he does. He's with his cakes and his sculpting.
Emma Fyffe, you are all over the internet.
I am at my name, Emma Fyffe.
Nice.
And we are in our sort of home stretch of episodes of Pencils and Parsecs right now. Our next episode will air live at 8:00 p.m. on Wednesday. So that's Pacific time, because we live in Los Angeles, so Pacific time zone.
Nice. And
that's on HyperRPG, which is twitch.tv/HyperRPG.
Sweet.
Yeah.
With girls and guys.
With girls and guys gaming together, and it's Star Wars.
It is happening.
It is all happening.
It's all happening.
What a time to be alive.
It's true, all of it.
Yeah, it's true, all of it.
We will be back in 2 weeks, and we'll also be back next week with an interview episode. We missed last week because over Comic-Con, I think I put out about 10 hours of podcasting, and I need to catch up a little bit. So we'll be back with the traditional interview episodes, and I've got some very interesting people, behind the scenes Star Wars people lined up. So stay tuned for that. If you're a Patreon, we'll be doing a couple of Q&As this week, and I think on Friday I'm going to try to do a little live news stream. I'm going to do it at, I think, about 4:00 LA time. So Australian people can watch it live on the weekend. Great. Because I can't neglect the home.
No.
Can't neglect them. They gave us Clee Glass and me and Ben Mendelsohn. So it's a great place.
It's true.
And meat pies. You can follow us at Steel Wars. And hey, may that force be with you. That's how the show ends normally.
Oh, were we supposed to say it with you?
Nah.
Okay.
That'd be-
I just pointed at